It's time for the One Bar and Lupica Show, bringing you anything and everything Minnesota Vikings.
Welcome to professional football.
All right, welcome back to the show. Thanks for joining. Today, we are talking first-round options for the Vikings come draft day because, as everybody knows, the Vikings are going to be hot and heavy on some wide receivers come draft day. We got 12 picks. I expect the Vikings completely to at least take 2 wide receivers out of that. But we're just going to talk first-rounders today. I want to give you some guys that will probably be on the board and will be on the Vikings' radar when they pick at 22, pick 25. And also I want to break your hearts on some guys that you've probably heard about that will definitely not be there and we have zero chance of getting. So when they take their guy at 22, 25, you're going to know all about them. You're going to know whether you should be excited or you should be very, very sad. So let's talk about the guys that will definitely not be there. There's the big 3. We got Henry Ruggs, we got Jerry Jeudy, and we have CeeDee Lamb. So these guys, wherever they go, whoever takes them, they're going to be stepping in, and they're going to be expected to probably be a number 1 wide receiver wherever they go. And to be honest, all 3 of those guys have the skills to do it. If any of them are still around after pick 14, pick 15, I will be very, very surprised. There's some talkable people. Well, maybe the Vikings can trade up and get one of these guys. Well, they could, but that would also cost them their other first-round pick and probably another early-round pick. And when you're the Vikings and you got needs at corner, you got needs at offensive line, you got needs at defensive line, giving up that type of draft picks is a little steep, especially with those needs. So I fully expect the Vikings to hang tight. If one of these receivers starts dropping out of the top 15 and they're getting close to that pick 22, yes, I think the Vikings could look at going up. I just don't see it happening. No way. These receivers are too damn good. That's enough about the guys that we're not going to get, okay? Ain't happening. Let's talk about 2 guys in particular that the Vikings will have high on their radar. They've been linked to the Vikings already. Granted, every receiver has been linked to the Vikings because it's such a big need. But first guy, Denzel Mims from Baylor, 6'3", 207, has been ripping shit up for the Bears throughout his college career. What is to love about him is his body. He's 6'3", he's 207, and he ran a 4.38 at the combine. Oh, that don't get you excited. Nothing's going to get you excited. He's got that big, large catch radius. What Mims does is he will go up and get that ball. He'll go snatch that thing away from you. He gives the quarterback that big old target, something we need. And he's a highlight machine. Go look him up. Go watch some of his YouTube videos. It will get you very, very excited. The thing with Mims that is not great is he is definitely raw. He's rough around the edges. What the Vikings need right now probably isn't a project. I wouldn't say Mims is to the level where he's a full-blown project, but it could take him a year or 2 to really get in there to even be a number 2 receiver. He will come in as a rookie wherever he goes, even if it's the Vikings. He will make plays. He will get you excited. But for a guy to be out there for every snap, I don't think Mims is the guy. But the potential's there. The talent's there. He's going to be a very good receiver in the NFL. I think Mims will definitely be there at 22. I think he'll probably be there at 25. That said, I will say that teams get very, very nutty when it comes to wide receivers in round 1. They will trade up. They will make sure they get their guy, and Mims will probably be on some team's radar as worth it. So chances are he's going to be there. If the Vikings did take him at 22 or 25, I would be okay with it. I would be excited about it, but I wouldn't be overly excited about it. It depends on who's still on the board. And this next guy I'm going to talk about is my number 1 guy. He's the guy I want the Vikings to get. I think he's got a chance to be there. It is Justin Jefferson, LSU. Hot name around the Vikings. Hot name in college football the last couple of years. When you think of, or when you're watching Joe Burrow, all those highlight reels that SportsCenter, NFL Network are putting on about him, take a look at who's catching those balls, because majority of the time it's Justin Jefferson. Jefferson last year, 111 catches, 1,500 yards receiving, 18 touchdowns. I mean, let that sink in. That's insane. This guy is ready to step in day 1 on an NFL team, come in as a number 2 receiver. Justin Jefferson, when you think about him, just think reliable. He's got number 2 receiver written all over him. The reason he's not in that top tier talk, my thoughts are, is that his ceiling isn't as high as with other guys. With Jefferson, you kind of know what you're going to get. The other guys offer just, their ceiling is through the roof. But with Jefferson, you got a guy who runs good routes. You got a guy with good hands. He can make plays after the catch. He can play inside. He can play outside. Extremely smooth. If you read any draft profile about him and it doesn't have the word smooth in it, keep moving on, because it's what he is. He's a smooth operator, and he is a number 2 receiver. I think he'd step in day 1 for the Vikings and be that number 2 next to Thielen. And I know I already said that his ceiling is probably a number 2 receiver, but he's a guy that could work his way up. Thielen is 30 years old when the season starts. He's getting a little long in the tooth. Maybe Jefferson comes in for a couple years and he's ready to take that handoff. But I think as a rookie, Jefferson is one of the more NFL-ready receivers. And I think he will, even if it's not the Vikings, wherever he goes, he's going to put up some catches, he's going to make some plays, and he's going to make an offense better. And that's what we need. The scary part about Jefferson is the teams ahead of us need receivers too, and there's not going to be any left, and Jefferson will be pretty high on that list. So we could get sniped, and if that happens, I will crack 6 to 7 highlight lights and put them in front of me and just whap them back, because it'll be a very, very sad day. I'm so high on this guy. For round 1, that's pretty much it, the way I see it. Vikings options at receiver. Guys that could sneak in the round 1, guys that could be at the end of round 1 that might be a possibility are guys like Michael Pittman Jr., USC, big body, 6'4", 220. I see him as more as a round 2 guy, but teams will get desperate, and Vikings could be one of them. So don't completely put him off. Michael, like I said, 6'4", 220, big body. He's kind of a bully when it comes to the opposing corners, which I love. He goes and takes that ball away from him. He's ready to contribute day 1. You got guys like T. Higgins, 6'4", 215, great size, rough around the edges. Will probably need a little time before we can see what he's got. And if it's outside of those guys, I think it's definitely a big old reach. Round 2 is going to be fun. We're going to talk about that one in another podcast, but round 2 is just stacked with guys that the Vikings could actually double dip on that early. You got guys like Brandon Ayuk. You got guys like Donovan People-Jones. You got guys like Van Jefferson. A lot of options in round 2, but Justin Jefferson, Denzel Mims. Those are our boys. Those are our chances. So we'll be back tomorrow. We're going to be talking more draft needs because, like I said, draft is 2 weeks away. So tune in. That's all I got.